Hey, it's Bri, and I have a story for you. If you've been here before, thanks for stopping by. And if you're new here, go ahead and click that red button and subscribe. And don't forget to click that bell for notifications, because I know after this story time, you guys are gonna want to see Bri all the time, every time I upload. At this point, I think I just like telling y'all my business, because my story times aren't even as juicy as they used to be, in my opinion. Because once I realize that somebody has me fucked up, I remove myself. And I feel like at this point in my life, I'm literally just telling stories as cautionary tales and to be a guiding light for other girls just like me. I did not go through all of those traumatic experiences for no reason. The other day, I literally filmed a story time where I was telling you guys how my homegirl's boyfriend felt like it was okay to bring up the fact that I had an abortion. I mean, how long do you really think that story was? Like, I'm at a point in my life where I'm really not about to sit here and go back and forth with you, especially if I don't give a fuck about you.
Caho, you're not talking about Nathaniels. You're not talking about Nathaniels.
Today's story time is about a guy that I was entertaining during a low point in my life. Let's go ahead and call him Devon. Now, I want to tell you guys right now at the beginning of the story, up until I met Devon, I had never been on a blind date. I have never gone out with somebody purely based on word of mouth or recommendation. Okay, so let me give you guys the backstory. If you guys watch my channel religiously, you already know that I did a story time about my experience living with an older woman. So before I moved into my very first apartment, I was roommates with an older lady, and during my time living with her, her best friend came to stay with us. Okay, so I went from living with one old lady to two old ladies. If you guys want to know more about that situation, just go ahead and watch that story. But during that time in my life, I had just gone back to school. School was whooping my ass. I did not qualify for financial aid, so I was broke as fuck because I didn't have a job, because I was a full-time student. Going to school became an escape for me. It was a place where I could get away from my home life, because my home life was very depressing. Make a long story short, I hated going home. When that lady's friend moved in with us, I was fighting demons. I would do everything in my power to avoid going home. From the old lady's perspective, they just thought that I was obsessed with school, because even on the days that I did not have school, I would lie and I would tell them I need to go up to my school. I need to study in the library. Like, I was always looking for a reason to not be in the house. And that is very important to the story, because one particular evening I was at home, I was cooking for myself, and I casually started having conversation with the old lady's best friend that was living with us. And she was expressing to me that when she was my age, she wasn't so serious. She was outside. She was living her life. I kind of get where she was coming from, but clearly all that partying and all that being outside didn't work in her favor, because she was in her early 60s sleeping on her best friend's couch. So a lot of the stuff that she was saying to me was going in one ear and out the other. However, during that conversation, she decided that she was going to play matchmaker, and she was going to put me on to her nephew, Devon. Now, I want to make this very clear. At this point, I was taking 4 classes and actively trying to find a job. I didn't have time to sit up and smoke and drink when that lady was standing there in the kitchen trying to convince me that I was too serious, that life was gonna pass me by. All I do is study and do homework, and I need to party, and you only live once. Not knowing that I did a lot of partying. I got the partying out of the way. If anything, it was time for me to get serious. Like, clearly, you don't know me.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Clock that T.
Clock it.
Clock that T.
Honestly, you guys, I thought maybe she was a little tipsy, she was feeling herself, and she wasn't even gonna remember that conversation. I didn't think that she was actually going to be serious about hooking me up with her nephew until I started to notice that she kept bringing his ass up every single day after we had that conversation. And what was I supposed to do? She literally was living under the same roof. She knew I didn't have a boyfriend, and she knew I didn't have a job. Basically, she knew I didn't have no life outside of going to school. So there was no excuse that I could give her as to why I couldn't go on a date with her nephew. You guys could let me know in the comments below if you believe that I could have avoided that situation, but in that moment, when I tell you, it was awkward. It was beyond awkward. She kept trying to give me her nephew's number so I could call him and we could hang out. I wasn't interested, and I kept telling her that I wasn't even raised like that. Like, just because somebody offers to give me your number doesn't mean that I'm gonna take it, because how do I know that you even want me to have your number? You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's just rude to be giving out somebody's number. Eventually, this old lady got tired of my excuses. She decided that she was gonna reach out to her nephew. So she gives her nephew my Instagram, and her nephew's like, hell yeah, go ahead and give her my number. Up until this point, I did not know that the nephew was a photographer. I knew that the nephew was self-employed, and I knew that he was in a relationship with some girl that clearly his auntie did not approve of. I didn't really know that he wanted to be a creative or like work with influencers. I don't really know, even as I sit here right now and tell the story, but I need you guys to keep that in mind, that he was somewhat of a creative, because that's going to come in handy later on in the story. Now, all of this was taking place during Pisces season. The school semester had just started. I finally found a job, so now I'm going to work and going to school. There was a lot on my plate, and like I said, I was not convinced that I needed to go on a date with this lady's nephew. Like, that was not a priority in my life at that time. However, I remember my professor for one of my hardest classes ended up getting pneumonia, so he was out for like an entire month. I didn't know that he was gonna be out for that long, but when he started canceling classes more consistently, I decided that that was my opportunity for me to live a little. This lady's nephew was actually a Pisces. So let me tell you how I ended up going on a date with this man for Devon's birthday party, or what I thought was gonna be a birthday party. Let me tell you what happened in real life. Devon pulls up, I go outside to meet him. I am extremely overdressed. And it was very embarrassing, because not only did his auntie walk me out because she helped me choose my outfit, but the older lady that I was living with, who is best friends with my grandfather, also walked me out. You would have thought that they were sending me off to prom or something. And even though everybody was gassing me up, I couldn't help but notice that Devon wasn't dressed up at all. Like, Devon wasn't dressed like it was his birthday, nor was he dressed like he was going to the club. And me personally, I love to shit on bitches. I take my looks and my fashion very seriously, believe it or not. I could tell by how he was dressed that we were not gonna have a good night. Because how is it your birthday and I'm dressed better than you are? So let me tell you something. We didn't even get around the corner from my house. As soon as I got in his car, I said to him, are we going to the club? He gave me some bullshit ass answer. Remember, he's a Pisces, okay? So it would have been torture for him to just tell me the truth, you know? I asked that man straight up, am I overdressed? Are we going to the club? He was like, well, I'm not sure if we're still gonna go to the club, but you definitely aren't overdressed. He was trying to convince me that what I had on was okay, like it was appropriate attire. I was like, take me back home, I'm going to change. I did exactly that. I already get a lot of attention, naturally. You're not going to introduce me to your homies and your cousins and your extended family, and I'm dressed up like I'm about to go meet Chris Brown backstage. Like, I was way too overdressed. And I know sometimes when you show up and you looking too good, that triggers people. And it's like, no, bitch, I just have a passion for fashion. That's why I made him take me home so I could change, because I didn't want to show up in a room full of people that I don't know with main character energy. That's just not the time that I was on. I can be a main character all day with my homegirls, but in a room full of strangers, that could get dangerous. So look, it wasn't really a big deal to me that I had to change my outfit. That wasn't a big deal. The big deal was the fact that Devon is a liar, because we were dressed like we were going to two totally different events. And then you're trying to convince me that I don't need to change. That's weird. That lets me know you just want to look good in front of your friends and family. I already know what the fuck is going on. Devon's birthday was our first official date, and it was an absolute fucking flop. It was actually embarrassing for me to see the disappointment on Devon's face when his friends and his family were basically like, look, dude, it's too late. I gotta do this. I gotta go to work tomorrow. I gotta go pick up my kid. They were giving him every excuse in the book as to why they could not celebrate his birthday with him. And that made me feel really bad for him, because I'm like, I don't even know this man. And y'all sticking him on me, and I'm not spending no money on him. That's the crazy part. Like, it was his birthday. His friends ditched him. His family ditched him. We're still on a date, so you gotta spend money. And apparently it was money that he did not have. Baby, we didn't go to no club. We didn't even go to no damn hookah. We drove all the way to Hollywood to go eat chicken wings. I was so fucking mad. And I'm pretty sure that there are like certain details of the story that I'm overlooking or I'm forgetting about. But when I tell you, by the end of the night, Devon knew that I was pissed the fuck off. I was pissed off because I wasted not one, but two outfits on your weak ass birthday. And we didn't do shit but stare at each other and eat fucking chicken wings. Mediocre chicken wings at that. And then I couldn't even get a drink. I got a soda and he drank water. It's your birthday and you drinking water? And then they disrespected him at the restaurant. They didn't even give him a glass of water. They gave that man a styrofoam cup. I know I'm talking shit, but in the moment, I felt so bad for him. Immediately after feeling bad for him, I was pissed off because I actually did not need to leave the house. I could have stayed my ass home and I could have been in my books writing essays. I could have stayed my ass home and I could have been doing homework. And I'm sitting up here eating chicken wings with your stupid ass. Mind you, I hate Hollywood. I don't even like kicking it in Hollywood, and I'm kicking it with this guy that I barely know on his birthday. What the fuck? Like, I had the worst attitude. And not only that, I also had a bad attitude because before Devon actually admitted that we were not going to a club, we went like 3 different places. We went to 3 different people's house. Then we went to the liquor store to get a bottle. Then after we got the bottle, we go to wherever the friends and the family was at, and they don't even want to drink. They ready to go home. They was like, look, man, it's 10 o'clock at night. Like, your birthday is technically over anyway. What the fuck did I leave the house for? I really felt some type of way. I distinctly remember when we were leaving the restaurant and we were going back to the car, Devon was tipsy. Now, I don't want to make this story time too long, but one thing I will tell you is that I started to realize that Devon had an anger problem. He was like an angry drunk. And I don't know how I got this far in the story without telling you guys that Devon was short as fuck. Like, I'm 5'4". Devon had to be 5'2". He was not taller than me, bitch. So I feel like him being an angry drunk is directly connected to him being a short king. You know how short men are. They got that Napoleon complex. Remember, I told you guys, Devon's birthday was our first official date. Why are you mad at me? Because you wasted my time. You didn't even have no real plans for your birthday, and you got me out the house on a school night to do nothing. And he tried to make it up to me by telling me that he's a photographer and he's worked with Zeus Network and he wanted me to have a good time, so he was gonna take some pictures. So when we get back to the car, he pulls out his camera and he starts taking pictures of me on his professional camera as well as on my iPhone. Those pictures was booty. They were bad. I did not like them. And that was something that I could not hide on my face. Like, exactly what I was thinking was definitely showing on my face. And I will never forget how shocked I was when Devon started screaming and hollering at me. And I'm not even being extra, I'm not being over dramatic. Devon was yelling at me. He was like, I feel like you mad at me because you didn't get to have a good time and you didn't get to take no pictures and you didn't get to show off. I mean, he was really trying to clock my tea. He was basically telling me that he feels like I did not have a good time because I couldn't do it for the gram. There were no bottle girls with sparklers. There was nothing that I could flex. And technically, he was right. However, because I don't know this man from anywhere, I don't even really know his auntie like that, I decided to be fake and de-escalate the situation and basically tell him that my stomach was hurting. And that's why I was acting weird, because I was having some kind of weird reaction to the chicken wings. Because if it's one thing that I really don't like, it's an angry drunk. After Devon's birthday, I really did try to ghost him, but that didn't work out too well. Even though I wasn't really fucking with Devon at all, I still would let him smoke me out and pick me up from school because I'm just a girl. And I believe that any man that you're talking to is supposed to make your life easier. So I really don't feel bad. Now, this is some tea that I honestly wasn't even going to include in the story time because I don't like to do long ass story time videos anymore. I like to get straight to the point, okay? But this is some tea that I just cannot keep to myself. Devon invites me to come along with him to his cousin's birthday party. His cousin is a lesbian. She's a stud. And I'm not saying that for no reason. If Devon's cousin is a lesbian, obviously, as you can imagine, she would have friends that are also lesbians, right? That's kind of where Devon fucked up. Why did you bring me to a lesbian party? Like, what did you expect bringing a bad bitch into that environment? So when we show up to the party, I'm being my amazing self. I actually took on the role of bartender and I was helping set up. I was pouring people drinks. I was just being hospitable and myself. Like, I was doing me. And so I started to strike up a conversation with a girl that I noticed I had a lot of similarities with personality-wise. Like, we actually had more in common than me and Devon. And so I started to give her more attention than I was giving Devon. Let's backtrack a little bit. At this point, Devon was like the homeboy that I knew had a crush on me. I just didn't care that my homeboy had a crush on me. I mean, everybody's been in that situation before where you know somebody has feelings for you. You just don't reciprocate those feelings and you don't care enough to communicate that. You just put them in the friend zone. Up until that point, Devon hadn't done anything physically to make me uncomfortable or to make me feel like I was in danger if he didn't get the goodies, if that makes sense. I was very comfortable with where our relationship was. I liked that he would pick me up and we would smoke together, and you know, sometimes we would go to the beach. Devon really didn't have no money like that. We wasn't going on dates. We wasn't doing anything spectacular. That's why this story is so crazy to me. Let me just keep going, because like I said, I don't want to make this video too long. We're at the party. I'm chopping it up with this girl that I met. I start to realize this girl is flirting with me. And it was very awkward for me because when guys do weird shit that makes me uncomfortable, I expect that from them because they're men. You get what I'm saying? But when a girl does something because she feels like I'm into her and like, I don't know, I don't even know how to articulate it. This bitch starts putting her arm around my waist Every time she was near me, she found some reason to touch me physically. If we were laughing, she had to put her hand on my shoulder. And I know I'm a friendly person, but I really don't fuck with people like that. It was awkward for me. If she was a guy, I would have just been like, hey, don't touch me like that. I'm not fucking with you like that. But because I never had a girl come on to me like that and like touch me in that way, I froze up. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was too afraid to speak up. I was enjoying her company. I thought she was a cool person. I just wasn't into her on that level. I quite literally have never been in a situation where I have to reject another woman. So I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I'm gonna do. I'm thinking all of these things in my head. I'm like, I fuck with her, but not like that. Like, I don't want her touching me like that, right? While I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to approach this situation, Devon notices that this girl put her arm around my waist when she was walking behind me at the bar. So remember, I told you guys, I decided that I was gonna be the bartender of the party, and I was behind the bar making people drinks. This particular girl was helping me. I don't remember everything, but I guess she needed to get by me so she could get to the deep freezer. And when she was going past me, she made sure to put her hands around my waist and basically cop a feel. And when Devon saw that, his tiny ass went into a fucking rage. He was so mad. And let me tell you why he was really mad. Before he saw that that girl was basically filling me up, we were outside in the front of the party because we were gonna help somebody bring some food in. And Devon was trying to get a kiss. I don't know if he was drunk. I don't know what the fuck was going on. But Devon was trying to kiss me in the mouth. He had me around the waist. He was trying to pull me in, and I was like, not going for it. I just wasn't going for it. Like, I felt like in that moment, especially because he had been drinking, he was beyond mad because I just rejected him for doing the same thing. And he's actually picking me up, dropping me off, smoking me out. In his mind, that's a big deal. Girl, tell me why when Devon saw that shit, he asked her, did you just touch my girl? Did you just grab her around the waist? Did she come with you or did she come with me? I was in shock. The girl was in shock. Everybody in the motherfucking party was shocked. He's cussing the girl out and he's cussing me out. He's like, oh, you friendly ass bitch. You could leave with her. She could take you home. Since you just letting her touch you, you can go home with that bitch. Figure out how you gonna get home. Basically telling me that he was gonna leave me stranded. When he said that, I was like, oh, you ain't gotta tell me twice, baby. I'll request my own Uber. I will get the fuck out of here on my own. It was actually the girl that had her hand around my waist that convinced me to stay. But in that moment, I was so embarrassed. I was so humiliated because number one, I could speak up for myself. It's just taking a little while. I'm trying to figure out how to say what I need to say. Number two, you're not even my man. Why are you yelling at me in front of your family? You got me all the way fucked up. But you know what? I'm gonna let you have that. And I did let him have that. He definitely got away with that shit. Once that girl convinced me not to leave and not to just get an Uber, I was like, okay, you know what? Let me just play my role so I could make sure that my black ass has a ride home. But yelling at me in front of your people, that's out. That was like a nail in the coffin for you. There was no coming back. That was the beginning of the end for me and Devon. I don't even like when my mama yell at me. Who the fuck are you? Like, seriously. And you know what's crazy about that situation? After he yelled at me in front of everybody, when it was time for him to take me home, when we pulled up in front of my house, why did he ask me to get in the back seat? Why would I get in the back seat with you when you just cussed me out in front of all your people? I had to gaslight him into actually believing that I had more emotions than I actually do. Because in real life, I didn't give a fuck. I just didn't like the fact that I got disrespected. That's all I cared about. I probably would have thought the yelling thing was sexy. If I was attracted to him, I would have been like, ooh, that's my man. But no, I'm not attracted to you. You're giving me the fucking ick. After that point, I kind of made up my mind what the relationship dynamic with Devon was gonna be. He was never going to make it out the friend zone. I was never gonna choose him. The only way I would have even considered him an option was if he fucking hit the lottery. I continued talking to Devon up until the time that I realized that I was going to need to move. When I found out that I needed to move, the lady that I was living with only gave me 2 weeks to figure out where I was going to go. And I just started my new job. I had no money saved. It was a very stressful time for me. And so because I was in a desperate energy, I kind of became reliant on Devon. I really didn't even know if I was going to go to a shelter or not. So I needed all the help that I can get. I remember one day, Devon picked me up from work. Now, I work graveyard, so I get off work at 7:30 in the morning. And I just want to make this clear. I never asked Devon to pick me up or drop me off anywhere unless it has something to do with money or finding an apartment. In regards to going to school or going to work, I was gonna figure out how to get to those two places anyway. Actually, now that I think about it, I think Devon had like insomnia or something, because I remember he would be texting me while I was at work asking me if I needed a ride or if I wanted him to come get me. And I would be like, why are you even fucking up right now? I'm saying that because one particular day, Devon picked me up from work. By the time he came to pick me up, he was already in the mood to smoke. So he was hitting up all these people that he knows and he wasn't really getting a response. And he was like, you know what? There's this new weed shop that just opened. We're gonna go over here and we're gonna get some weed. When we pull up to the weed shop, obviously Devon goes inside, he buys the weed, and then when he comes out, he asks me to twist up. I think he asked me to either roll the blunt or at least break the weed down. I said something along the lines of, I'm hanging out with you, basically for like princess treatment. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I basically was like, when I'm hanging out with you, you're supposed to do everything. Otherwise, I would just go hang out with my homegirls. I was joking. Like, I didn't really think that what I said was a big deal, but apparently Devon did not find that shit funny at all. Like, at all. Devon turned to me and he was like, what the fuck you mean? Why you acting like you handicapped, like you just can't do shit? I do everything. I pick you up, I buy the weed, and now you telling me I gotta break the weed down, roll it up. What do you do? What do you even bring to the table? When I tell you, I was too stunned to fucking speak. I didn't even know where that energy was coming from, because I don't feel like I said anything malicious. I was being a little shady, absolutely, but like, I didn't say anything that deep to where he felt like he needed to lose his fucking mind, to where he felt like he needed to start yelling at me. That's the second or third time that he felt like he could just yell at me. Actually, yeah, I think it's like the third time. The first time I told you guys, he started crashing out on his birthday because he felt like I didn't have fun and I felt some type of way that I wasn't having fun. That's the first time he raised his voice at me. Then he raised his voice at me at his cousin's birthday party. Now you're raising your voice at me at 7 fucking o'clock in the morning because I don't want to break down no weed, because at the time I had extendo nails. Let me tell you something. My situationship that I was on the rebound from quite literally never raised his voice at me. And he was a Pisces too. And he never ever raised his voice at me. And now that I'm older, like I'm actually a grown ass woman, a man yelling at me is the ultimate turn off. Because why are you as a man raising your voice? I'm not your kid. You as a man should be able to express yourself without losing your mind. Like, something about that is so fucking feminine. Like, ugh. So I shut down. Like, when your mama and your daddy start yelling at you, I didn't have nothing to say. I disassociated entirely. It was awkward. I already knew that I was still gonna get smoked out and I was still gonna get a ride home. So I really didn't give a fuck how he felt about me giving him the silent treatment, because who the fuck are you yelling at? I don't remember exactly what happened. I offered to break the weed down just to kind of like ease the tension a little bit. While I'm breaking down the weed, I still wasn't really talking to him. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason I offered to do that was low-key manipulative. Like, I wanted him to think that I cared about the situation more than I did, when in real life, I didn't give a fuck at all. I was just trying to figure out what the hostility was for. You know what I'm saying? I was not trying to get my ass beat at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, I didn't know if he had a violent streak, and I wasn't trying to find out. I was like, you know what? The only reason I was tripping is because my nails are long. It makes it really hard for me to twist up, but I'll go ahead and break the weed down. So we pull into a McDonald's parking lot. I'm breaking down the weed. I don't know what possessed Devon, but he started talking shit to me again. Not only was he talking shit, he wanted to have a full-on red table talk. And what do I mean by that? He wanted me to express myself. He wanted me to basically let him know if I had feelings for him romantically or not. Now, here's the thing. I didn't like Devon. That's a fact. However, I was always respectful when I was around him. I was not a straight up bitch, which I could have been. I mean, it's nothing for me to be a bitch. You feel what I'm saying? I always was cordial and respectful and submissive even to a certain extent. Clearly, if I allowed him to yell in my face on more than one occasion. Anyway, we sitting in this McDonald's parking lot. I'm breaking down the weed. He starts telling me how he feels like I find him attractive, but he just needs to know where this relationship is going, because apparently him picking me up from work and dropping me off and all that other stuff is making him look bad to other people because I'm not his girlfriend. And I was just thinking to myself, why are you even telling people our business? Granted, I'm not your bitch, but why are you letting people convince you that you're getting played because you're being a gentleman? In my opinion, you don't know me. You're getting to know me. I gotta move. And I feel like your auntie is the reason that I gotta move. Now I'm beefing with your auntie. I gotta move. And you sitting up here asking me, what are we? I couldn't do nothing but look out the window. Like, I could not engage in that conversation because I just feel like that conversation was so fucking stupid. No, I don't like you. I'm really not about to say that now because you want to tell me something so stupid like I'm making you look bad because you're picking me up from work and I'm not your girlfriend. How does that make you look bad? I really didn't even understand that. Another thing that I was thinking to myself too is you're making yourself look bad because why are you bragging about me? You never asked me to be your girlfriend, and you never let me know that you like me like that either. And you know what? I'm actually having flashbacks as I tell this story, and I'm getting the ick. Like, when he used to put his hand on my thigh when he would drive, it used to just make my skin crawl. Like, ugh. I did not like Devon, but I wasn't going to say that. I was going to deny. And when I couldn't deny no more, I was going to lie and lie and lie. During that conversation, Devon also let me know he doesn't like the fact that I don't offer to buy him food. Mind you, we didn't go on no dates for real. And Devon had an EBT card. Why would I buy food for somebody that's buying me food with their EBT card? You're not even buying me food. The state of California is buying me fucking food, dummy. Never have you ever went in your pocket and actually spent real money on me. But you want me to take my hard-earned money and buy you fucking food? Can you believe the audacity that certain people possess? Because me personally, it blows my mind every day. Let me tell you guys what I did. I chose to engage as little as possible with that conversation as I possibly could. And whenever the opportunity presented itself for me to gaslight Devon, that's exactly what I did. Because Devon was not the victim. Because Devon was acting so passionately about the situation, I turned to Devon and I asked him, what do you even like me for? Because you sitting up here and you telling me all the stuff that you do for me and I'm not even your girlfriend, but why do you want me to be your girlfriend? You don't even really know me like that. You guys are not gonna believe the answer that he gave me. You're not gonna believe it. Because I actually think about this so much. Even after I upload this video, Devon's response to my question will probably haunt me for the rest of my fucking life. When I asked Devon what he was going so hard for, what did he even like me for? Devon told me that he basically liked me because I was a YouTuber. Huh? and he always wanted to date somebody that did social media. I cannot make that up. That's literally what he said to me. That he wanted to take our relationship to the next level because he admired my YouTube channel. And his last girlfriend was a sex worker, telling me that you want me to basically settle for a relationship with you because you feel like it will benefit you and what you want to do with your life. I guess he was talking about the photography shit. I guess he wanted to be my boyfriend so he could be the photographer and I could be the influencer. I don't know what the fuck fantasy world Devon was living in, but I was not about to join him. After that situation, I made up my mind. After I moved, I was gonna have to cut Devon off. And even though I didn't know where I was going to go, I knew for a fact that I did not want Devon to follow me into the next chapter for multiple reasons. I don't know what kind of crazy Devon is, but he's some kind of crazy, and I'm not trying to figure out what kind. Basically, I wanted it to be like I passed away, because if I don't fuck with you no more, you could basically consider me dead. You don't gotta worry about me. Once I got approved for this apartment, Devon was driving me to Target. We was going to Ross. I'm telling you, Devon was my personal Uber until I no longer needed his services, okay? I remember the day I got my keys to my house and he dropped me off outside, and I told him I would talk to him tomorrow, and I never did. I did not reach out to him the next day. And you know what Devon did? He had the audacity to text me and basically tell me that I was fake as fuck for not reaching out to him. He was like threatening me, basically saying that he was gonna cut me off. Do you think I ever replied? Do you think that Devon ever heard from me again? No. Cause bitch, you ain't gotta threaten me. I didn't want you in my life anyway. You do not have to tell me that you're gonna cut me off, babe. You already been cut off. So what's tea? You guys, I really don't know what possessed me to tell this story. I've reached a point in my life where if I really don't fuck with you, I don't see the point in using my communication skills, because I don't care if you stay in my life or not. You're not valuable enough to me to where I feel like you really need to know the inner workings of my mind. I guess somewhere along the way, I had a feeling that Devon wanted to use me, because Devon did talk about how he basically used to pimp his ex-girlfriend out and how he basically dibbled and dabbled in being a pimp. Like, he literally got arrested on a pimping charge. I don't know what they call that legally, but he was detained and put in jail for basically being a pimp. I'm not saying that that was necessarily his intention with me, because I'm not going for that anyway. Like, that was never gonna happen anyway. Yeah, I really feel like Devon was living in La La Land, because why did he want me to like him so bad? Like, I guess this is just another crazy story from my crazy life. With that being said, if you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Support your girl. Get those fingers moving in the comments below and let me know how you feel about this Devon situation. There's no way I'm about to have a short king screaming and hollering at my sexy ass, especially if he not spending no money. Anyway, I'm so excited to hear from you guys in the comments below. With that being said, I love you guys so much, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Till next time.